What kaya?
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. وعن ابي هريره رضي الله تعالى عنه قال قال رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم على كسرى فلا يكون كسرى بعده وقيصر ليهلكن ثم لا يكون قيصر بعده ولا تقسمن كنوزهما
ولا تقسى منة قسم يقسم ولا يقسمن لا يقسم ولا تقسى منة okay, we got لا تقسى منة. Okay, that makes more sense. Is that in the Kitab? Yeah, that makes my sense, but تقسى منة because ولا تقسمن كنوزهما ولا تقسم. No, it makes more sense to say ولا تقسمن than it's كنوزهما. So that's a knife file. That makes more sense. That ولا تقسمن. You understand what I'm saying? That means ولا تقسمن. These two treasures will definitely be divided, right? Understood? So ولا تقسمن makes more sense, right? Okay, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Like I mentioned to you that we discussed the whole chapter of eschatology in the beginning from beginning till the end. So here you got random. So what the ulama have done is they put it all into piece for us. So I told you that the first sign, in fact, in the stomach today, inshallah, you will see there's a hadith where Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam said that my death, I told you before that the appearance of Nabi Sallam, but actually it's expressed in this word here. The death, the passing away of Nabi Sallam was the first sign of Qiyamah. The passing away of Nabi Sallam was the first sign of Qiyamah. In other words, once Nabi Sallam passed away, then things will start happening in rapid succession. But as long as he's there, it won't happen, right? So the first sign, right? So as I said, the hadith that we've been doing for the last 2-3 days and the forthcoming hadith, it will explain uh, the happenings, but randomly, like in no particular order. Maybe one will be mentioned, one will be left out, another will be mentioned. So Alhamdulillah, our ulama have put that in proper order for us. So look here, so yeah, in this hadith, Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam speaks about some significant happenings. وعن أبي هريرة قال ثم هلك كسرى. Kisra referred to the Persian ruler. So he said the Persian ruler has been destroyed. Now, I told you in Arabic many times you use the mazi, the past tense, for two reasons. One is you could use it as a dua, like how you say, rahim Allah ta'ala, and the negative dua, la'anahu Allah ta'ala, etc. You say, so it could be, one meaning is like there's a dua that may he be destroyed. Or also in Arabic, also, sometimes you use the past tense to show certainty. Like even somebody does something wrong. Maybe you I don't like to every time my mind comes example don't say bad thing, I'm thinking on him. You think about another example rather. That every time I think about that example, you think I'm picking on him. So okay, maybe you never do your homework. So I said that man is dead meat. He is dead meat already. Like he's so certain to get punishment as though he's already dead meat. So like you say, that man is a goner. He's a goner. So same thing when you want to express certitude in the Arabic language, then you use also the past tense. So I told you this is a miracle. This is a miracle. Because I told you, imagine few people in the desert. Now you must remember this desert of Saudi Arabia, it had nothing. Even the superpowers at that point in time, you look at the Romans and the Persians, they were fighting for Syria, for Sham, because these were beautiful lands, was arable lands. It was productive lands, but nobody was interested in Makkah, Medina, because there was nothing there. It was dry, nothing. So here you got a group of hungry people, so to say. Remember in the first battle, when the Muslims fought with the Arabs, with the Romans, then they told the Romans, Na'udhu so arrogant, they say, what brought you out of the desert? Did the hunger bring you here to us? Go, if you're hungry, we'll give you food, go back to the desert, Na'udhu Billah. If you're hungry, we'll give you food. Go back to the desert. Don't come here. What do you want here? You're like a thorn in our flesh. But obviously, what they said when they went, لنخرج العباد من عبادة العباد إلى عبادة رب العباد. We've come to take man out of the servitude of the dunya, out of the servitude of man, and bring him into the servitude of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. As Muslims, our first priority, our first, our first, priority, our first quest is to earn our akhirat. Our first quest is to, uh, 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 our first quest is to earn our akhirat and build our akhirat, because that's our everlasting life. It wasn't that they came out for food or anything. That's why they were sincere and they were dedicated in their quest. Anyways, I was telling you that a group of ill-equipped people that hardly got anything to eat. Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam is telling them, you're going to go, you are, the Persian Empire, the Roman Empire is going to crumble at your hands. It's going to crumble at your hands. And like how I told you, if you look at the prior to the Americans invading Afghanistan, the Russians invaded Afghanistan, and they were bogged down there for many, many years. They were bogged down in Afghanistan for many years. And obviously, war is expensive. Soldiers away from their home, you spend so much in arms, ammunition, munitions. So, amongst the many factors that contributed to the collapse of the Soviet Union, you see, before you had America, which is representative of the capitalist world, and the Soviet Union were the communists. So that war of attrition, slow war, wore them down. Eventually, they same thing. كم من فئة قليلة غلبت فئة كثيرة بإذن الله. How many a small group come in غلبت فئة كثيرة. They vanquished and they destroyed huge group بإذن الله, right? So this was a miracle. That imagine that as I said, no food even, but it's being said, and Sahaba Ikram had absolute conviction in the word of Nabi Sallam. So he said, halaka Kisra, that the ruler of Persia will be destroyed, right? فلا يكون كسرى بعده, and this will be the end of the dynasty. This will be the and right. Qaisar referred to like how in Hercules. He was this also, inshallah, you will do in detail. We'll do it with you, inshallah. Maybe even we put it online for the online people. In the beginning of Bukhari Shareef, that famous story about Hercules with his interaction with Abu Sufyan, right? وقيصر, right? ولا يهلكن, right? He will also be destroyed. ثم لا يكون قيصر بعده, and then there will not be any type of Roman leader after that. I was telling you, I mean, the Romans, they one of, when you speak about the great dynasties that existed, like throughout the ages, you speak about the Ottoman Empire, which is Dawlat al-Uthmaniyah, you speak about the Abbasids, you speak about the Umayyads, you speak about the Romans for many hundreds of years. I think, if I remember correctly, maybe it was maybe 2,000 years. They had a thriving empire. But imagine that was brought to its knees, it was destroyed, it was vanquished by the so-called band of hungry Arabs from the desert of Arabia. Anyway, then وَلَا تُقْسَمُنَّ كُنُوزُهُمَا. So I tell you, وَلَا تُقْسَمُنَّ كُنُوزُهُمَا. Knife file. Their two treasures will be divided. Fi sabilillah, in the path of Allah Ta'ala. So what Nabi Sallallahu is saying is that they had phenomenal wealth. That is why they were obviously expanding their empire to the Sham. All that wealth will be used in the path of Allah Ta'ala. وَسَمَّ الْحَرْبَ خُدْعَةً. And Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, he mentioned war as khud'atan, as a deceit. Muttafaqun alayh, that's a muttafaq alayh riwayat. I was okay, let's just look few things. Most of the things we understood there, I told you, ran. So these are from the signs of Qiyamah. When Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam mentioned that these are from the signs of Qiyamah, then obviously it means Qiyamah will not come until these things are going to happen. And so many things that Nabi Sallallahu mentioned, it happened already. Like, I mean, the Jalun, Kazabun happened, the collapse of the Roman Empire at the hands of the Muslims, the collapse of the Persian Empire at the hands of the Muslims, the conquest of Constantinople that will come, it happened. So this is supposed to increase us in Iman. It look here, Nabi Sallallahu his predictions, it happened, it came, it came to fruition, it manifested itself. So this is the scene, how accurate Nabi Sallallahu. So why must we still doubt then with regards to the future things, that the Mahdi will come, that Isa alayhi salam will come from the heavens, that Isa alayhi salam will slay the Dajjal. So many of the predictions that Nabi Sallallahu had made it accurately predicted. It happened. It manifested itself. So why doubt the future? Or sometimes maybe it doesn't seem like I told you. Our silent feature, we are the Ahl Sunnah wal Jama'at. We put akal before naqal. Sorry, we put naqal before akal. We believe in it, whether it makes sense to us or not. And we got all the reason to believe because so many of it manifested itself already. I was just telling you this here. So the destruction of the Persians happened at the hands of the as Umar radiallahu ta'ala. That is why you see the Shias, they are the Persians. They hate as Umar radiallahu ta'ala. That is why if you go till today, if you go to Iran, they got a shrine there for Abu Lu'lu al-Majusi. That is a shrine for the person who stabbed as Umar radiallahu ta'ala. It's also an interesting incident. I told you if you want to know this incident, but also comes in Salabi's books. I was telling you about Salabi. There was a Persian, he was like a ironsmith or what do you say, ironsmith, yeah, what do you call it? A blacksmith, sorry, a blacksmith, yeah. So he apparently complained to Umar radiallahu ta'ala that my master, they're overburdening me with too much. Like I told you, like how you have investment, you buy a slave, and he had a profession, then he would earn money, and then that will be your investment. So he apparently complained to us, Omar, that my master, they're expecting too much from me. They're expecting too much from me. I must earn. So as Omar, I think he didn't get a chance to attend to, check what, because as Omar was a very, very just person. There he was known for. That's right. He was known. So he didn't get a chance. But this person then eventually stabbed him. An interesting thing is, this is interesting. When he was stabbed, then he asked, like, who stabbed me? Like, who? Like, when he said it was this person stabbed me, he said, but we don't have any problem with this person. We haven't wronged him anyway. We haven't wronged him in any way. So it means, look here, if I've wronged him, that means he had a reason to stab me. But I haven't done anything wrong to him. So it means he's unstabbed me unjust for what he's done. He's killed me unjustly. And if he's killed me unjustly, it means I'm a shaheed. That means I'm a shaheed, subhanAllah. So in that state, imagine in that state where he was in the throes of death, he was still worried. Did I do wrong to this person? Did he have a right to harm me? Did he have, he didn't have. That means I'm in the clear. That means I'm in the clear, subhanAllah. Is there what you call it, a pinnacle for justice? Even that condition, in the throes of death, he was worried to see that he never do any wrong to this man, that he's in the clear and he can die with him. But I told you, I can't remember. Either he felt that the remuneration that the master wants is nothing wrong, it's fair, or either he didn't have a chance to pay attention. But anyway, this person was called, his name was Abu Lu'lu al-Majusi, and he was of Persian descent. And obviously, they hated us, Umar radiallahu anhu, because I told you, explained to you before, that the fall of Persia came under the hands of Umar and the Romans, actually. And then it was North Africa, which came in the time of Uthman radiallahu anhu. So Nabi Sallallahu, as he predicted, these people, these empires completely collapsed. So Kaysariyat, and which is the Persians, and وثقافة اللي صار قاصرية or Qaisari, they also, and this is all through the barakat of jihad. So there's no indispensability for jihad. Jihad will be there till Qiyamah. Al-jihadu ma'adhin ila yawmil qiyamati. This, I told you, I was just telling you that, the Qadianis, they believe, like what does you say, like, we say, okay, the circumstances is not, you'll do inshallah. We'll do Kitaab al-Jihad, inshallah. We'll do it. We don't know in whose path it will come. But there you will see that you don't just stand up and make jihad, like, I want to make jihad, you get up and make jihad. There are conditions for jihad. You need a khalifa, you need a base. Nabi Sallallahu didn't just make jihad in Medina, in Makkah, he had a base. But the fact is that the concept of jihad is still there. When the conditions of jihad are there, then you will have to make jihad, right? Now, I was telling you the Qadianis, they believe actually that jihad is mansukh. They believe jihad has been lifted up. There'll be no more jihad. They believe now you have, like, intellectual jihad. Now you have to fight, like, what intellectual arguments and all that type of thing. But as another point that I was saying, that we, the Ahlul Sunnah wal Jama'ah, we believe jihad will last till Qiyamah. There's no way. And even though if the Ummah is on his back foot now, the Ummah don't have the means, but the concept is still there. You understood the difference? In the moment the Ummah is on the back foot, they don't have a Khalifa, they don't have a base, but we still believe that the concept of jihad is there, even though we're not engaging it. It's not mansukh theoretically or theologically, whatever. You know what I'm saying? So we believe that we done it hadith. We'll come even here that لا يزال طائفة من أمتي الظاهرين الحق. I told you that would mean that they're always expounding on the truth, or they're always fighting. And if you look at every point in time, there were Muslims fighting. Even when we were small, there was in Chechnya, you had a group of Umar and the leaders of the commanders. There was some Umar, I can't remember what name. But always there was people fighting, and all right. So anyway, that is a separate subject there. So this is this miracle manifests itself. Then the last part of the hadith, he said, وَسَمَّ الْحَرَبَ خُدْعَةً. Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam mentioned that war is this, like this, maybe not deceit is not obvious in the maybe the right meaning here. So what was the relevance? Okay, before we discuss it, here Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam was speaking about jihad, and he was saying through the barakat of jihad that these are superpowers. So you see, I was telling you that jihad played an integral part, a very, very important role in the establishment of Islam in this dunya. That is why we done it. Well, jihadu dharwatu sanamihi. There's no responsibility for jihad. It will always be there. So even though it doesn't exist physically, but it will always be part of the ummah. And when the circumstances materialize again, Muslims have to take jihad. And because they have become weak and they've left jihad, that is why they are being brutalized, and that is why they are being kicked from pillar to post, right? So Nabi Sallallahu is speaking about jihad, but at the same time, he's maintaining some etiquette and adab of jihad. So he's saying, in jihad, you have to be smart. You don't openly lie. That's obviously haram. You don't lie, but you are. As I said, maybe deceive is not the correct word. I must look for the nice word. It is cunningness, slyness. Like maybe you give the impression you won't attack, but then you attack. You understand what I'm saying? You give the impression that you are weak, you are retreating, but then you attack from the rear or something like that. So that's what it means. So that doesn't mean you lie. Say that, that you give a pact that look here, we promise you we won't attack you, but then you go and you attack that person. Not that. It's not open lie, because obviously a Muslim doesn't lie, you know. So what it means is you are sly, you are cunning, you give one impression, but you do another thing, so you catch the enemy of God, right? So that is what it means. Okay, read the next one. Okay, we'll come back to that now. So we'll look at it, inshallah, in discussion just now. Right, read the next one.
جزيرة العرب فيفتح الله ثم فارس فيفتح الله ثم تهدونه يفتح الله ثم تهدون الدجال فيفتحه الله.
Right. So Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. This hadith is similar to the above the hadith, very similar, same meaning, just something extra. See, وعن نافع بن عتبة نريتنا ثارت نافع بن عيسى قال رسول الله تغزون جزيرة العرب. You will fight the جزيرة العرب. Now, أهلا. Many times you mention the place, but you intend the people. Sometimes you intend the people and you mean the place. There's also a form of poetry. You do it balagha. You say the place, but you tend the people. You say the people, you tend the place that you done it. Oh yeah, this is a word. You mention the zarf, but you intend the mazroof. You mention the mazroof, but you intend the zarf. So Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam is saying that you will fight the Jazirat al-Arab, right? That's the people of the Arabian Peninsula. فَيَفْتَحَ اللَّهُ and Allah Ta'ala, فَيَفْتَحَ اللَّهُ, Allah Ta'ala will conquer it for you, right? He will give you victory. ثُمَّ فَارِسَ, then you will fight the Persians. فيفتح الله فيفتح, you can say فيفتحها الله, then Allah Ta'ala will grant you victory. ثم تغزون الروم, then you will fight the Persians. ثم تغزون الدجال فيفتحه الله, then you will fight Dajjal. Rawah Muslim, Imam Muslim narrates this particular right. So here Nabi Sallallahu speaking about bringing the Jaziratul Arab under the control of us. Then you're going to conquer the Persians. Then you're going to conquer the Romans. Then I told you, Nabi skipped a long thing in between. So a lot of things happen in between. Remember, North Africa was conquered, Constantinople was conquered, and then so many things happened. But Nabi jumped and he spoke about what Dajjal. So I told you, different hadith speaks about different things. Maybe you will ask yourself why Nabi left out in between. Various reasons. Maybe this is what Nabi wanted to discuss at that point in time. or maybe these are the major events, the other minor events, he never speak about it. Or maybe as the wahi came to Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he spoke about it. Remember, sometimes Nabi sallallahu mentioned some things because it was not relevant, or maybe sometimes Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam had only that information at that point in time. But nevertheless, here you can see four major events that will have to take place before Qiyamah. That the Jazirat al-Arab will be brought under Muslim control. The Persian Empire will collapse at the end of the Muslims, and then the Roman Empire, and then the Muslims will fight with the Dajjal. Now, the Dajjal in English you call it the Antichrist. Interesting thing is this about the appearance of, you say like they call it English Antichrist, but means like an ungodly person, whatever, an anti-God person. This is not something which is unique to the religion of Islam. Even the Christians, they believe in the Antichrist. Even the Jews, they believe in a, like you said, a Dajjal type of thing. But when the Dajjal comes, they will take him as a God. That's why they believe. Remember the Jews, the real Jew, the Orthodox Jew, he is against Israel. Why is he against Israel? Because he believed that the Jews had committed some crimes against Allah Ta'ala. And they have been expelled from the Holy Land. You say in Urdu, say, Jilai Watan. And they believe that they're not allowed to have their own land until the Messiah comes. So basically they believe that they are in a holy exile, that they've been exiled by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And they can only, so to say, when the Messiah comes, the Messiah will redeem them. That's why the real Orthodox Jew is against the Zionist state of Israel, because he say we are in exile. When our Messiah comes, he will establish for us our homeland, right? So that's why interesting. Most of the Zionists that they establish, they themselves are, they don't have any religion. They are what you call this, what's the right word, where you're not a religious, they're not practicing Jews, so to say. They are not practicing. They are seculars, yeah. A secular mind means you're against religion. You don't believe in religion, right? Anyway, so in this hadith, four major events was mentioned. So yeah, Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam spoke about Jaziratul Arab. Now, if you look at currently, normally Jazeera referred to an island, right? A land mass that is surrounded in all four directions by by water. But if you look at the map of the Jazeera Arab, you find it's not all four all four uh, all four sides are not surrounded by water. The top is joined, right? It is joined there. But anyway, just maybe you can say Taghliban is mentioned as a Jazeera. But if you look at the Jazeera Arab, it is made up of four areas. One is Najd, that is where Riyadh and those places are. Then Hijaz, which is Makkah, Medina. Then you get Yamama, and then you get Yemen and Uruz. So these four places make up Jazeera Arab. As I said, if you look at it whole area together, right? Which in today, modern day, it will include like Qatar, Bahrain, UAE, all of that makes up the Jazeera Arab. So all of this was brought in under the Muslims in the time of Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. And also another thing is, normally I told you, when you make jihad, it is Islam, jizya or safe. But the Arabs were not given the option of jizya. They were forced to accept Islam. It's either safe or Islam, right? So if you look at this, the Jazeera Arab, I told you, look it on a map. Maybe you must just Google after that. To the south of it, you get the Bahr al-Arab, in English called the Arabian Ocean at the bottom, right? And then to the north of it, you get the Euphrates River. And then to the east, you get the Gulf of Oman, right? And to the west of it, you get the what is in Arabic called Bahr al-Ahmar, but in English called the Red Sea. So this hadith is showing you, is telling us, through the barakat of jihad, right? Many lands will come under the control of the Muslims. And in the future also. So even though, as I told you, even though maybe the circumstances for jihad are not ripe, we don't have a khalifa, because you'll do this inshallah when you come to Kitaab al Jihad. You need a khalifa, you need a homeland, all that type of thing. but we should never ever downplay the importance of jihad, even though it's not there, it's not happening, but we should always speak about it. And we should always remind the Ummah that, look, maybe the circumstances are not there, we don't have the Khalifa, etc., but it's an integral part of our deen, right? So it is not something which it's not going to be replaced by electronic warfare, like how they speak about the electronic intifada, or it's going to be replaced by the pen, or it's going to be replaced by dawat and tabligh or anything. It's not going to be replaced. It was there. It, if the circumstances come, it will be there, and it will come before Qiyamah. The idea to say it is outlived its usage and all that type of thing, that is a Qadiani concept. That is a Qadiani concept. Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam said, Al-jihadu ma'adhin ila yawm al-qiyamah. Okay, read the next hadith.
رضي الله تعالى عنه قال أتيت النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم في غزوة فقال ستا بين يدي الساعة موتي ثم فتح بيت المقدس ثم إنسان فيكم وتقعاس الغنم ثم استفاق علي فيكم رجل دينار فيظل ساخطا.
Okay. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. وعن أوف بن مالك قال أتيت النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم في غزوة تبوك. Narrated in the authority of Auf ibn Malik, he says, I came to Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam in the battle of Tabuk. وفي قبة من أدم, he was in a tent from leather skin. فقال أعدد ستا بين يدي الساعة. He said, count 6 things right in front of Qiyamah, 6 major things. Mauti, first will be my death. So there's a first sign. See, now I told you, Allah Ta'ala reward the ulama what they've done. They've taken all these hadith and they've put it in order and they gave it to us easy. Look, I mean, that's what we done in the beginning. I mean, you can imagine from how many hadith has that been taken. So all is hadith, right? So Mauti, the first one. ثم فتح بيت المقدس, then the conquest of Bayt al-Maqdis. ثم موتاني يأخذ فيكم كقعاس الغنم. Then there will be, we done this also before, mutanun, rampant death, and يأخذ فيكم كقعاس, it will come into you like the sickness, like the plague of the livestock. ثم استفاضة المال, then a proliferation of wealth. حتى يؤتى الرجل 100 دينار, a person will be given 100 dinars, right? فيظل ساخطا, but still he'll be annoyed. Hey, you gave me so little, right? ثم فتنة لا يبقى بيت من العرب إلا دخلته هدنة. Then that fitna, no house will remain from among the Arabs except that a type of agreement will enter into it. ثم تكون بينك وبين بني الأصفر, then there will be between you and بني الأصفر. بني الأصفر means the children of the red. So now I just normally refer to the Romans. All the European people, they were the power at that point in time. You know, when they get angry, they become red, right? فيغدرون, then they will deceive. فيأتونكم تحت 80 غاية, they will come to you beneath 80 flags. تحت كل غاية 12,000, and beneath every flag there will be 12,000, 12,000 people. رواه البخاري, Imam Bukhari narrates this particular riwayat. So let's look at the first part of Mauti, my death, sallallahu alayhi wasallam. So I told you, in other words, until Nabi sallallahu alayhi wasallam was there, Qiyamah could not come. Until Nabi sallallahu was there, the Mahdi would not appear. Until Nabi sallallahu was there, the Dajjal would not appear. Fath Bayt al-Maqdis, this is a very, very beautiful, interesting story. How as Umar radiallahu ta'ala went by foot, he was going, and then how the one Sahabi said that, yeah, Amir al-Mu'mineen, know the people here of these are like a civilized world. They are used to accustomed that the leader must become with pomp and glory. As Umar with his patches and he's having turned with his slave, he's sitting on the horse. Now his slave is sitting on the horse. So can't we give you some nice clothes so that you can enter, like, you know, as a real ruler, like what they are accustomed to? And that is when Hazrat Umar had made an epic statement, نَحْنُ قَوْمٌ أَعَزَّنَا اللَّهُ بِالْإِسْلَامِ, that we are such people, Allah Ta'ala has kept our dignity and our honor in Islam. وَلَوْ طَلَبْنَا فِي غَيْرِهَا لَأَذَلَّنَا اللَّهُ, if we want to seek honor and respect besides Islam, in the ways of the non-Muslims, then we will be disgraced. And then how he was so fair, how he was just, like how he gave the keys, how he to the people of the etc. That's a beautiful, beautiful. So you can, in fact, you can give a whole bayan on that, just how Nabi Sallallahu. In fact, initially when they said they had the description in their scriptures of the Amir al-Mu'minin that will come. Hazrat Khalid bin Walid was also very similar to Hazrat Umar in features. So initially he said Hazrat Khalid bin Walid, and when he saw him, he said, this does not match the description of the person mentioned in our scriptures. It's the wrong person, sorry. Send the Amir al-Mu'minin. And that as Umar had to come, and with what justice, equity, and then even you want to read Salah. So the one Sahabi said, just read here in the church. So how much consideration he had? He said, if I read Salah in this church here, everybody will come after this. Umar reads Salah here, so we also want to read Salah. You know, what will happen to this church? People, they will want to make this church a masjid. And that's unfair. We can't take up people's church and forcefully make it a masjid. So how much tolerance? How much tolerance that he was known as Umar was known as the, you can say, paragon of justice. Anyway, so that itself is a beautiful story, beautiful story. So that you can study and can give a whole bayan on that, the justice of Umar. Then the reason we got mutanun. Yeah, it says here, it is with a dhamma on the meme. Now, this fear, like how we say, you know, when a sickness uh, gets a lot of epic proportions and many people are affected, in English called a plague, Plague, right? So this year, it's mentioned here, this is normally an illness that affects cattle first, livestock, domesticated livestock, and it normally destroys, decimates large flocks of animals. So just, you know, I don't know if you people were following the coronavirus. Initially, what was the theory? The theory was that this came from a wet market in China. What is that? They call it wet market. Wet market means those places where they sell like all exotic animals to eat. You know, the Chinese, they eat anything. They eat cockroaches, they eat snakes, they eat iguanas, everything. So where the place where they sell these animals called wet markets. So the original theory where Corona started, they say that this was actually a virus, although it comes from the flu virus, but it was a virus that is found in animals, wild animals like reptiles. But then it was a word, I'm not see if I can remember the word. There's a nice word to say where it jumps from one species to another species. It jumps from one species. There's a word, but I can't remember. I'll try to find the word. It jumped from one of the animals in the wet market, and then it came to human being, and from there it spread. From there it spread. So although now they say now the recent theories is now this, they say no, that's all false. This is actually a virus that was developed in the lab, they had their own agendas to see how they can control the world population, to depopulate the world, whatever. But anyways, that is a separate subject altogether. But the relevance of what I was mentioning that came to my mind here is that here in the Kitab also they mentioned this plague, and this is it was a virus that primarily existed in animals, but it jumped over. So that is why at this point in time you can appreciate the dietary laws of Islam. That you don't eat any funny things. That Allah Ta'ala says in the Quran, وَيُحَرِّمُ عَلَيْهِمُ الْخَبَائِثَ. That Allah Ta'ala has made haram the bad things, the harmful things. Why? Because for your own good. You eat, the healthy animals, good animals, like sheep, goats, camels, buffaloes. These are appropriate. They are conducive to human consumption. But now you eat all these funny things. When they eat like snakes and reptiles and all that type of thing. Now you get all those funny diseases. You get this viruses hopping from animals to human beings and all. So that we say all the laws of Islam, there is goodness for you in it. There is goodness in all the laws of Islam. Anyway, so yeah, this is why I came to this word here, that they said here, even in the Kitab, they're saying that this was a disease that came from, hey, the time is up also, okay, we'll have to stop there then. Okay, let's just finish this hadith quickly. So this was a sickness that came from animals into the human beings, right? So the word here, ka'asun, so here, Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam even predicted about the plague that will happen. And as I said, this happened in the Khilafat of Umar radiallahu ta'ala anhu. Remember this year, it was 18 years after Hijri. And then in Syria, not Syria, okay, Sham, which we, Syria, normally we say in English Syria, but Sham is a broader area. I explained to you last time. Um, there's a place called Amwas, close to Baitul Maqdis. It was like how you say a frontier town. You know, frontier town means like the last town before the enemy. Like frontier town, right? Um, it's mentioned there that in a space of about 3 days, space of 3 days, over 70,000 people were killed in this particular plague. And when Umar was going there and he heard about it, then he never go. So then the one Sahabi told Umar at that point in time, like, Umar, like, are you fleeing death? Like, if your decree is put out, you'll die. Why don't you go? He said, I can't remember the Sahabi. From you, I didn't expect this. That was نَفِرُّ مِنْ قَدْرِ اللَّهِ إِلَىٰ قَدْرِ اللَّهِ. Remember, there's a hadith also that says that when there is a plague in some place, no outside people should not go in, and people that are afflicted should not come out. Because if you go in and you get sick, you're going to say, no, I got sick because of this plague. And people shouldn't flee from there because it's going to dispose. Are they fleeing from the decree of Allah Ta'ala? So that's the time, as Umar made this epic statement, نَفِرُّ مِنْ قَدْرِ اللَّهِ إِلَىٰ قَدْرِ اللَّهِ. We are going from the decree of Allah Ta'ala till the decree of Allah Ta'ala. But nevertheless, this Nabi Sallallahu spoke about this plague, and you see it manifested itself. Then the next thing Nabi Sallallahu ثم استفاضة المال حتى يؤتى رجل مئة دينار فيظل ساخطا. A person will be given a lot of money, but he will act like you gave me nothing. In other words, the money will be so much. Like, you give a bank come, you give him 2 rand, he just throw it. He say, like, this is nothing. So here it's mentioned that there's either case that we could say that even in the time of Uthman radiallahu ta'ala anhu, there was also a great deal of prosperity because all the riches from North Africa, everything was coming into the coffers. Or you can say it's referred to, like I told you, remember we said that there's a hadith that say, just close to Qiyamah, in the time of Isa alayhi salam, person won't find anybody to receive his zakat even, right? There will be so much wealth. In fact, it's mentioned there also, the earth will spew out columns of gold, but nobody will be interested in it. Then it speaks about, okay, that's it. ثم فتنة لا يبقى بيت العرب إلا دخلته. Then there will be a fitna. Here we said this fitna could refer to the shahadat of Uthman radiallahu ta'ala anhu that we discussed in detail, or it could refer to the the interaction or the differences between Hazrat Ali and Hazrat Muawiyah radiallahu ta'ala anhu. That was right. Then ثم هدنة sulah. We told you that's sulah, but not 100%. And that could refer to maybe in the time of the Hassan and Hazrat Muawiyah. Here also he said that it could refer to, remember we discussed in the beginning, there will be a Muslims will side with Christians against other Christians. Remember we discussed this. And I told you, if you look today, the most orthodox Christian that are closer to the real Christianity are the Orthodox Christians of Russia. They are more closer to the original Christianity. Christianity was hijacked by the Romans and was distorted. So then they will align with the Christians against the Christians. But then after the war, remember, the Christians will claim that they were granted victory through the cross, that was through the barakat of Isa alayhi salam. They say, and the Muslims say, no, this is through the barakat of Iman, this is through the barakat of Islam, and they will have a fallout. So this, yeah, he says it could refer to that fragile agreement that the Muslims had with the Orthodox Christians. So I told you this Moulana Imran Hussain from Barbados. He says also that the Russian Christian is a Muslim's friend, right? And he says refers to this as well. And then if after they have that fallout, then the Christians again will align with the Christians, al-kufru millatun wahida, and then obviously the Muslims will have it out with them. Then this mentioned there, the Muslim leader will be made shaheed. We discussed this here. And then that is when the Mahdi will appear. And that is, remember, we said we will have the group of 80 Muslims, 80 flags, and 12,000 under each flag. Then that was فَيَغْدِرُونَ فَيَأْتُونَ تَحْتَ ثَمَانِ غَايْةً تَحْتَ كُلِّ غَايْةٍ. Right. Okay, that brings us to the end of that hadith. Let's stop there. Let's see if we can do a bit of tafsir before Moulana will come, inshallah. So we'll be using the same link. We'll be using the same link for the tafsir. You can just write it there.